FOG Andrew here from the Family of Gamers. Welcome, War Gamers, to an exciting, awesome episode. It's here. We're going to get right into it. Unmatched. Battle of Legends. Volume 3, the finale of the Battle of Legends trilogy of Unmatched boxes. I am very excited. One of my most anticipated games of the year. Don't forget, we're also getting Ninja Turtles later in the year. Possibly Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee. This could be one of the best years of Unmatched, so we're going to take a look at what comes in the box, and then also take a look at some of what some of the characters do in the box. So, without further ado, let's get into it, because I'm hyped. Here it is. Artwork looks pretty good. Chupacabra, Blackbeard, Loki, and Pandora. Back of the box there kind of shows most of the components. Got the nice artwork on there. I do want to say we have this, a foil Loki card for pre-ordering the box. Anyway, let's get into what really matters, the box and the game itself. So, yes, very excited for this. I know Chris is very excited to do to see the Chupacabra. So let's just give that a whiff. Nice smelling box right there. This is new. Looks like they've upgraded to pamphlets now instead of just single sheets. There's ad for Unmatched, of course, and Unmatched Adventures. Return to Dark Tower, Thunder Road Vendetta, Dinosaur Tea Party, Crossbow Catapults, all that stuff. Get that out of here. Anyway, I like what they're doing now with these two rule books. So you have kind of the system of Unmatched and how it works. So a nice rule book there. And then the rules for what comes in the set. So I like that they are doing that. Then here we have Pandora's health dial there. It looks really nice. Chupacabra's health dial, which looks really nice. The Loki health dial, which also looks really nice. And Blackbeard's health dial, which also looks very nice. And then Blackbeard comes with his treasury token and his doubloons. So we will, of course, get into that when we talk about the characters. But we have Venice as one of the boards here. Kind of seems interesting here. I could already see there's some interesting moves here. You got kind of like an over-under sort of thing. Kind of reminds me of Soho a little bit. Some interesting good range spots here, I should say. But we got to, of course, play on the board. It looks like, yeah, they really only have the over-under thing here and here. And over here, it looks like. And that is it. I wish they might have had that more, because that's a really nice part of the Soho board. But then, we also have Santa's Workshop, which is really nice. Now, it looks like, I think there's two different game effects here. So you have the one-way paths here, which are from like the Jurassic Park Raptor Paddock set, so you can't go back that way. You can only go that way. And then the conveyor belt here. And it looks like at the end of each player's turn, any fire that's on a conveyor belt space must move to the next space on the conveyor belt, indicated by the arrows. So, and then if they get to the end space of the conveyor belt, they go into the gift bin. So, a little interesting thing there. It says large fighters are not moved on the conveyor belt, so the T-Rex is not moved on there. But I'm liking what they're doing here. So you're not only bringing back kind of an older kind of old map mechanic, but introducing a new one. So I very much appreciate that. Venice, cool. Santa's Workshop, I think even cooler. So wish Santa was actually in the box, but that's neither here nor there. Now, time to get into the stuff here. Let's go over the minis first. We have Loki here by himself. Looks okay. I wasn't too crazy about the model. Pandora looks pretty cool there. Then we have the Chupacabra. The goat sucker. So that's really cool to see. And of course, Blackbeard. And Ryan was very excited for Blackbeard, so I'm very curious to see how he plays. I'm pretty much going in blind. I just want to point that out. And also need to point out how beautifully amazing that these inserts are for Unmatched. Pandora comes with Cacodemons. So pretty cool there. Those will go right here. And then Blackbeard comes with 2 Sea Dogs. So, yeah. And, all right, I guess we're going to start with Pandora. So I will say, the 2 that I was probably the least excited for out of this box were Pandora and Loki. But I heard some rumblings that they are both pretty good and that this box is pretty good. But I obviously have yet to play it because I have not even, can barely even open Pandora's cards here, so that's not a good sign for me. But anyway, let's open that and then her cards here. I would assume that is Pandora's box there. All right, so Pandora's box. Well, first Pandora, melee character with 14 health, move of 2. Do not start with any Cacodemons on the board, and at the start of your turn, open Pandora's box. The Cacodemons are melee with, looks like 1 health each, and she only got 2 of them. Pandora's box is a deck of 7 cards called Miseries. When you open her box, you reveal the top card and resolve the effect. And you can keep revealing and resolving additional cards one at a time until you choose to stop. If there are 3 or more total feathers on revealed cards, you must stop revealing, and then Pandora takes 1 damage for each misery revealed. At the end of your turn, shuffle all revealed miseries back into Pandora's box. So, her miseries are Woe, which is summon a Cacodemon in Pandora's zone. Toil, add +1 to the value of Pandora's attacks this turn, so it's like that there's a feather there. Pain, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to Pandora, another feather. Misfortune, I guess, just gives you 2 feathers. Makes sense, Misfortune. Confusion, move Pandora up to 1 space. Hope, look at the top card of Pandora's box before deciding whether to reveal it. And Greed, draw a card with another feather. So, kind of an interesting game mechanic there, but how are her cards? Well, let's take a look. She's got a scheme here. Zeus's Mischief, draw 1 card for each revealed misery. Move an opposing fighter up to 1 space and then gain an action. Not too bad there. Hera's Curiosity, add +1 to this card's value for each revealed misery. After combat, look at your opponent's hand. I'm going to mess that up. Aphrodite, right? That's Aphrodite? Aphrodite's beauty? Aphrodite's? I don't know, okay. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card, but after combat, Pandora recovers 1 health for each misery revealed, so that's not bad there. So kind of a good way to restore health. Attack of 0. Of course, she's got her feints in there, some defense, ignore the value of your opponent's card. If you won the combat, return a card from your discard pile to the top of your deck. Forged by Hephaestus, place your fighter in any space and then gain an action. Not too bad. Cacodemons have some stuff. Spite, deal 1 damage to each fighter adjacent to your fighter. Malice, there your opponent discards 1 card, so you got 2 of each of those just for the Cacodemons. So I know I'm going over these pretty quickly here, but I don't want it to be that long of a video. Let's move on to one of the ones that I was very excited for, the Chupacabra. Now I will say, just to kind of, I guess I'm moving on too quickly here, but Pandora seems interesting. I'm very excited to see how she plays. I know Chupacabra is a little bit more of a classic Unmatched character because he's just going to beat the crap out of you. Because Chupacabra is a melee character with 14 health, move of 3, and it has the hunger. After you attack, you may draw a card. Now that's really good because like the T-Rex, at the end of your turn, you have to draw a card. This is after you attack, you may draw a card. So you have the option of drawing a card. You don't have to if you don't want to. By the way, Pandora's card back looks pretty sick, but the Chupacabra is rustling in those leaves. So that is pretty sweet. Cards smell phenomenal. Anyway, here we have the more they struggle. The value of this card is equal to twice the printed value of your opponent's card. That could be a killer against certain characters. Wow. Okay, that could be a killer. Blood in the Air. If you already won a combat this turn, you can boost this card with a 4 attack. Okay, I'm liking it already. We got Ravenous Lunge. Recovers 1 health. If you won the combat, recover 2. 3 versatile. That the mouth is crazy. Feeding. If Chupacabra has 7 or less health, gain an action and recover 1 health. Ooh, okay. Natural Toughness. If you lost the combat, return this card to your hand. Not bad on a 3. Wounded Beast. If Chupacabra has 7 or less health, this card's value is a 5. Traveler of the Night. Move your fighter up to 4 spaces. They can move through opposing fighters. Gain an action. Your opponent discards a random card. Adds boost value to this card's value. Of course, classic feints in there. Tooth and Nail. Deal 1 damage to up to 2 fighters adjacent to Chupacabra. And then he recovers 1 health for each fighter damage. This way, I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this character. Simple. Just beat the crap out of you. That sometimes I just want to play a character that'll just beat the crap out of you, you know? So, I like what I'm seeing for the Chupacabra. Loki. Here we are. There's his card back there. He is a melee character with 16 health, more than I thought. Move of 2, and he has Mischief Monger. After you play a trick, put that card into your opponent's hand instead of discarding it. Okay. If an opponent discards a trick from their hand, return that card to your hand or the top of the deck. Add +1 to your move value for each trick in your opponent's hand. All right, well, let's take a look here. What are tricks? Well, I guess that's a trick here. Okay. So, we have Baldur's Downfall. Loki. So, does that mean... Hold on a second. We're going to have to just consult the rules real quick here. Does that mean that Loki... if you're playing against Loki... Wow. Okay, so it says here, your opponent can play trick cards from their hand as if it were its own, one of their own cards. Meaning, so we have Baldur's Downfall here. If Loki plays this, after combat, draw a card. But if the opponent plays it, that's not Loki, instead, after combat, deal 2 damage to your hero. Wow. That is really freaking cool. We have Freya's Rescue. For Loki, during combat, swap the value of your card and your opponent's card. After combat for not Loki, Loki recovers 3 health. Oh my god! We have Something's Lure. I'm not going to pronounce that because I'll mess it up. Place scheme card. Place an opposing fighter adjacent to Loki as Loki, but not Loki. He just reveals a card in his... Loki reveals a card in your hand and then discard a card. Oh my god. Then he's got Not Trick, so we have Looking for Trouble. Immediately, if your opponent played a card, return it to their hand, look at their hand, and choose a card for them to play. We have Shapeshifter. During combat, choose 1 effect. Add +1 to this card's value for each card in your opponent's hand, and gain it, or you can gain an action. Okay, so I can see the synergy with adding the tricks to the opponent's hand. And he got 4 of those. Are those the only tricks? Okay, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trick cards out of a 30-card deck. Not bad. Not bad here. Where is the Ragnarok card? Because here it is. Your card's effects cannot be canceled. Add +3 to this card's value for each trick in your opponent's hand. My god. Okay. Leviathan. During combat, reveal a card in your opponent's hand and its boost value. This card's value. If you reveal a trick, put it in your hand. So, kind of an interesting way you can kind of cycle through getting tricks back from your opponent's hand. I'm liking it. Underhanded. If your opponent has more cards in your hand than you, This card's value is a 6. And then, of course, the God of Mischief. Immediately, if your opponent played a trick, ignore that card's value. Otherwise, cancel all effects on your opponent's card. I guess you would know if they do that because they'd be playing the card back for Loki. So, kind of an easy tell there. Wow. Loki seems very, very interesting. And I'm very interested to play Loki because, wow, that seems pretty cool, and he seems very annoying, and I'm excited to try him out. But last but not least, we have Blackbeard here. He's a ranged character. Actually, let's just show the card back. Looks really nice. Blackbeard, ranged character. 13 health, move of 2. He's got his Sea Dogs, which are melee characters. He's got 2 of those. He's got Privateer turned Pirate. Start the game with 1 doubloon in the treasury. You have the other 2. At the start of your turn, you may pay a doubloon to gain an action, and when Blackbeard takes combat damage, you have to pay a doubloon. Well, what does that mean? Well, doubloons that Blackbeard doesn't have are kept in the treasury. So Blackbeard could pay a doubloon to the treasury when he takes... He pays a doubloon to the treasury when he takes combat damage. So 1 doubloon starts in the treasury, so you don't have that, but you start with 2 doubloons. So he pays a doubloon to the treasury when he takes combat damage. He can also pay a doubloon at the start of his turn to gain an extra action, as we just stated. The effects on many of Blackbeard's cards can be ignored by paying a ransom. Any opponent can pay the amount of doubloons shown at the end of an effect to ignore that effect. These doubloons are taken from the treasury and given to Blackbeard. Okay. So, for example, we have Parlay. It's a 3 versatile, and immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card unless the opponent pays 2 doubloons. So, if there's 2 doubloons in the treasury, they would have to give it to Blackbeard, and then he can use it to gain actions, but he does lose them when he is taking damage. So, kind of an interesting mechanic here. I'm kind of liking it. Give no quarter if another friendly fighter is adjacent to the opposing fighter. This card's value is a 5 instead, and after combat, you can gain an action unless the opponent pays a doubloon. Avast Ye. Immediately, your opponent discards a random card unless they pay a doubloon. After combat, deal a damage to each opposing fighter in Blackbeard's zone unless they pay a doubloon. No prey, no pay. You may boost this card, and if you won the combat, draw a card. Simple card there. Scourge of the Seven Seas. Blackbeard recovers 2 health unless they pay a doubloon. Summon a Sea Dog in any space unless the opponent pays a doubloon. Gain an action unless the opponent pays a doubloon. Plunder. Move each of your fighters up to 3 spaces, and they may move through opposing fighters and then steal a doubloon from the treasury. I like that. Fearsome and calculating. Immediately look at your opponent's hand and choose a card for them to discard unless they pay a doubloon. Show a leg, summon a Sea Dog in Blackbeard's zone, light the fuse, move your fighter up to 2 spaces, then deal a damage to each fighter adjacent to them, and intimidating visage. After combat, if Blackbeard is adjacent to an opposing fighter, he recovers 2 health. I like this set. Sometimes you just know. You know, like, sometimes it's just love at first sight. And honestly, I have not played a single game using any of the stuff in this box, and I could already tell that I am in love. Wow. Okay, so looking over the cards and stuff of each character, the Chupacabra seems fun. Classic beat the crap out of you character. Can't go wrong with that. Blackbeard seems really fun to play. He seems, again, I have not played anything in this, so this is just my first impressions of looking over everything. But Blackbeard seems really interesting and fun to play. Loki seems really fun and annoying and interesting to play. And Pandora seems cool, probably the one that I'm least excited for, but that being said, I'm still excited to play her. I'm curious on how the Pandora's box stuff works and how that's going to go. And I'm very excited to get this at the table. So stay tuned because battle reports and gameplay videos using the stuff in this box will be coming out soon. So stay tuned for those. You don't want to miss out on those. And if you want to see a specific matchup using the stuff in this box or with other boxes, let me know down in the comments below, because I want to get to playing. I want to get to playing. And again, I think this might be the year of Unmatched. Not only is this box coming out, we have the Ninja Turtles Kickstarter coming in toward the end of the year. We have Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee possibly coming out this year. If that box comes out, this might be the best year of Unmatched. I hate to say it. Actually, I don't hate to say it. I love to say it because it might be true. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below too, because I am very excited for everything coming out this year for Unmatched. Yes. Let me know what you think about Battle of Legends Volume 3 down in the comments below. I'm excited to get to playing this. What are your first impressions? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Check out the Discord server in the description too. At our link tree, we can talk about it there as well. But guys, that's it. I'll see you in the next one.